Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Vidivakatya Shrimad Divine Grace Sri Lesa Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Sri Guru Parampara Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga Go Premananda Haribol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All together, please. Om Jnana Timirandasya Ganandana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapidam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yukta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatam Vitam Tam Shajivam Sarvetam Savadutam Prijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padang Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karana Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagadpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapcha Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Brindavanishwari Vrishabhana Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Avnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So anyway, everyone's happy. Who cares about a traffic jam? We want to make a traffic jam of people going back to Godhead. Yes? Jai and Vijay will be overwhelmed. So, look, because we were delayed and such, I'll just speak the Sanskrit words. We won't do the word for word. I'll read the English and then we'll repeat the English. Bandhur ātmanas tasya yenātmaivātmanā jitaḥ anātmanas tu śatrutve vartetātmaiva śatru-vat. The English. For him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends, but for one who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy. So, please repeat. For him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends, but for one who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy. Yes. Ooh. So which would you prefer? A great friend or a great enemy? Would you? Okay, that's good. You're still some sane people. Okay, let's do the purport. Purport Srila Prabhupada. The purpose of practicing eightfold yoga is to control the mind in order to make it a friend in discharging the human mission. Unless the mind is controlled, the practice of yoga for show is simply a waste of time. One who cannot control his mind lives always with the greatest enemy, and thus his life and its mission are spoiled. The constitutional position of the living entity is to carry out the order of the superior. As long as one's mind is an unconquered enemy, one has to serve the dictations of lust, anger, avarice, illusion, etc. Actually, the other two are pride and envy. But when the mind is conquered, one voluntarily agrees to abide by the dictation of the Personality of Godhead, who is situated within the heart of everyone as Paramātmā. Real yoga entails meeting the Paramātmā within the heart and then following his dictation. For one who takes to Kṛṣṇa consciousness directly, perfect surrender to the dictation of the Lord follows automatically. So Prabhupada, the way he writes, it's just so clear, isn't it? Every sentence is like a sloka. For one who takes to Kṛṣṇa consciousness directly, perfect surrender to the dictation of the Lord follows automatically. There's so much knowledge compressed into every sentence, but at the same time, Prabhupada speaks so clearly that you just realize it. Because it's two things. One thing is to read, but then you must digest the knowledge. Just like you chew your food, but then you have to digest it. Then you get the power. So when we read the Shastra, we should try to digest the meaning is there by contemplating it. And then Kṛṣṇa, dictation of the Lord, dadami buddhi yogam tam, that will come. Om jnana-timirandasya ganandana salakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. For him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy. So Prabhupada made it very clear. But it's interesting to note at this point, one must deliver himself with the help of his mind, not degrade himself. The mind is the friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well, previous verse. And previous to that, a person is said to be elevated in yoga, having renounced all material desires. He neither acts for sense gratification nor engages in fruitive activities. Yes, so it's very interesting. If we note, we're at this section now, we're talking about the mind. We'll discuss that in a while, in a few minutes. But it's interesting to see how the Bhagavad-Gita is moving along. First, Kṛṣṇa told Arjuna, you're very immoral. You're degrading impotence. You're leaving the battlefield. He gave material reasons why Arjuna should fight. You have a duty to your brothers. You have a duty as a kshatriya to do the right thing. So these are, we could almost say, mundane instructions. Be a good person. Do your duty. This is not necessarily a spiritual activity, but you should act with morality and truthfulness. Okay, good. But we know in this sloka it says Dharma, something like that. It says if you follow Dharma, but you don't gain attraction for Bhagavad-Gita class every Friday, or hearing the knowledge of Kṛṣṇa, then you've wasted your time. So Kṛṣṇa goes on from mundane morality and being a good person and doing your duty, Arjuna. He gives him knowledge, and it's called Sankhya. But it's theistic knowledge. Sankhya means analytical study of the material elements and the soul. So it's Sambandhagan. The atheistic Sankhya means that I will find the truth in the material energy. That is the modern science nowadays. They have a premise, that means an underlying assumption at the beginning of endeavor or argument, that matter is the source of everything. Matter is this. Yes, please come in. Take a comfortable seat. That matter is the source of everything. And if we understand matter, we will understand the creation. And if we understand the creation a little better, we'll be able to exploit it better. Maybe we'll change the genetic code so that we don't die after 100 years or so. Maybe we can enjoy better. So that is fruitive activity, that is looking for sense gratification, as Prabhupada said. That is the materialist. He thinks that matter is everything. But no, matter is not everything. There is a second energy, chit shakti, achit and chit shakti. And we are the jiva, the third category. So we are entangled, prakriti stani kashati, in the material energy. Even though we are angsa of the Supreme. That is the basic problem. And because we're entangled in the material energy, we're trying to enjoy, control and enjoy. So how to break that? Like I said at the beginning, knowledge, spiritual knowledge, sadhu sangha, hearing from the sadhu. This is how Prabhupada created so many devotees, because he gave them knowledge. Shravanam. By knowledge we realize, hey, my mind, which is the reservoir of my material conditioning and desires, is not a friend, because I'm smoking smack, I'm taking LSD, I'm drinking, I'm living an undisciplined mind. Why? Because my mind is saying, you will enjoy this way. You will get sense enjoyment this way. So do that. But Prabhupada explaining, and the Vedas explaining, no, there's a Supreme Lord. And there is such a thing as the law of karma. If you do illicit activities, certain activities, you'll get reaction. So Prabhupada said, he said that if you take drugs, intoxication, alcohol, and we see this practically in the old days, when I was growing up, many pop stars or rock stars or whatever, they died when they were 27 or 30 or something like that. Huh? So why is that? Prabhupada said, if you take illicit activity, you're calling death very close. Why? Because in India they drink daru, right? They make daru. It's called spirits. Why is it called spirits? Because you leave yourself open to lower subtle entities that will push you in a more destructive way. And therefore your mind will become increasingly your enemy. Huh? And so you have drug addicts living on the street. Maybe they were a decent person at one time, but now they're penniless, looking for some drugs and stealing and doing this. So they're going to hell. So you should, as it says here, one should elevate oneself by the mind, not degrade oneself. So what is this mind? We hear about the mind. What is the mind? If we want to control the mind, Prabhupada gets very direct. He says you surrender to Kṛṣṇa. What does that mean? Well, manasa deha geho yokisho, right? We have 3 items that we can surrender. We have our geho. That means we have our material facility, my shirt, my house, my sleeping place, my smartphone. This is a material objects. Then we have the body. And then we have the mind. What does it mean to surrender? Bhaktivinoda in that book, Manaso Deho, he explains what is surrender. Surrender means that you realize Vasudeva Savamiti, that Vasudeva is the creator of everything, and therefore it's actually his property, Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. It's his energy, and we are angsa. We are meant to use what energy we can control in the material world in the service of Kṛṣṇa. So surrender means that, I have this material facility, I have a spa, I have glasses, I have books, I have a place to rest my head. I surrender that to Kṛṣṇa. What does that mean? I will use that in your service. Surrender the body. This body is created by you, it is maintained by you as Paramātmā and so on, and the demigods. I surrender this body to you. It's yours now. And this mind, I surrender it unto you. Now, you are Hrishikesh. So you take my mind, my body, and my material facilities, and you, Hrishikesh, I am surrendering to you. You inspire me how to use this in your service. Right? I'm no longer saying, this smartphone is mine, I'll use it to enjoy. I'm no longer thinking, this body is mine to enjoy, I'll use it in enjoyment. I'm no longer thinking, this mind belongs to me, I'm giving it to you, Hrishikesh. And there's one thing I'm saying, now it belongs to you. You inspire me as Paramātmā to use it properly. Do you understand this point? You, because Bhakti Yoga means to enlist the help of Kṛṣṇa, not to think I will do it all by myself. That is not perfection. But perfection means I give it to you, Kṛṣṇa, now you inspire me to do everything properly. So that's the meaning of surrender. And Bhaktivinoda in that song, he says, now you can do anything you want with me, but if I'm dying and I don't go back to Godhead or anything like that, then I want to be an insect at least, but it must be in the house of a Vaishnava. So maybe I can nibble some prasad, maybe I can hear some pravachan. So that's bhakti, that is surrender. That everything that we claim as ourselves, we give it to Kṛṣṇa with the prayer, Rishikesha Rishikena Sevanam Bhakti Uchite. That Kṛṣṇa inspire me from within the heart how to serve it, use it in the service of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. And Kṛṣṇa will reciprocate, because that's his promise. Whoever surrenders to me, he is safe. I will protect him and I will guide him. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena upayanti. How to come to me. So this is surrender. And this gives the mind a different aim. Other than just enjoying the senses, it gives the mind a way of listening for Kṛṣṇa. What is Kṛṣṇa saying? Just like in these verses, the Supreme Lord, and Prabhupada says, Yes, number 7, next verse. For one who's conquered the mind, the supersoul is already reached, for he has attained tranquility. To such a person, happiness and distress, heat and cold, honor and dishonor are all the same. These are material dualities. Why? Because now he's not relating to the material energy, he's switched to relating to Kṛṣṇa. And so all the material effects that are through the mind and body are less agitating. He is now an avadhuta. He's fixed on Kṛṣṇa. Everything else is external. Now, so the mind, we hear the mind. So what does that mean? When Kṛṣṇa says, one who has not, like today's verse, one who's not conquered the mind. So what is the mind? So we know that there are 20 gross material elements. There is 5. Vibration, touch, sight, taste, and smell. And then there is the ether, the air, the fire element, water element, liquid element, and the earth element. And then there is the knowledge-acquiring senses, the hearing ability, the touching ability, the seeing ability, the tasting ability, and the smelling ability. And then we have 5 working senses. The working senses are the voice. We work through the voice like a teacher. We use our arms. That is a working sense. Then there is the stomach. We work through the stomach. We digest. We develop energy. And then there is the sexual organs. We do work from that. We procreate. And then the 5th working sense is the legs. So these are the 20 gross elements. Now we're using element, in Sanskrit it means bhuta. The material scientists say the elements are hydrogen, oxygen, helium, so on. That's a different usage of the same word. We don't deny that they're there, of course, but we categorize, the Vedic civilization categorized them in that way. Solids, liquids, plasma, gaseous, and then ether. So they're the 20. And they are produced out of the material mode of ignorance. How does the material mode of ignorance arise? Well, Mahavishnu glances upon, when the time for manifesting the universe is, they regularly are manifest and then unmanifest. He glances upon the personified Durga Devi. And that glance is Sada Shiva. That is the time factor. So then the time factor agitates the womb of the material energy, the personified Durga, and that is within the womb of Durga Devi. It is the Mahatattva. And it is produced by the agitation of the time factor upon the basic material element, which is not material, ultimately pradhan. It is the consciousness of Vishnu. So this, everything that arises after the time factor, whether it is gross or subtle, you have to understand that is a material element. Because the time factor is that which changes the pradhan, agitates the pradhan, produces 3 modes of material nature. What is the mode of ignorance? It is the past. The mode of present is the mode of goodness. The mode of passion is the future, we desire. So all this is produced. So somebody may say, well, how is it produced? How is it done? Because we have been trained in school to think, oh, two hydrogen molecules, atoms, interact with one oxygen atom, and they produce one molecule of water. We think like that. So we might apply that to this interaction of the time factor with Mother Durga, the personification, embodiment of the material end. How does it? Well, it is beyond physics. This is the point. Physics are there, physics, chemistry, biology, of course, they're operating, but they are a subset of reality. When you come to the creational phase, the impetus for the creation is Hari Icha. By his desire, these effects are manifest. By his design, by his proprietorship, by his potency, he has created the three modes of material nature. He has created the time factor. And those interactions with the pradhan under the supervision, his will, creates all these aspects. So that is the ultimate principle. Yes, there are atoms and molecules combining and interacting, but that is a subset. That is resting upon the Hari Icha, his design and his potency. It is explained in Dasmula Tattva Bhakti Vinod Thakur. He explains that by his desire, Kṛṣṇa transformed his Chit Shakti into the Jiva Shakti in different conditions. Just by his will, he produced that. So that is beyond physics and chemistry and biology, you understand? If you study those and you think that that is going to explain the material energy and creation, that is a subset. It is not encompassing. The encompassing whole is Hari Icha and the Kriya Shakti, his desire and his ability to do it. So those gross elements, they come from mode of ignorance, Shabda, can give a class on that, but wish. Then the mode of passion creates buddhi, and the mode of goodness creates manas. Now those gross elements are produced out of the three modes of material nature interacting with pradhan under the supervision of the Supreme, create the material elements. Buddhi is created and manas is created. So we know that there are 20 material elements, but there is also manas, buddhi, ahankara, and chittam. 4 things comprise the subtle body. Now, just like the gross body has a system, heart, blood, liver, kidneys, it's working in this way. So there is a subtle body also. It has a system. It's called nadis, energy. There is vyanas, different life airs that are moving in a subtle way within the body. There are chakras and so on. They are not gross elements. They are the layout, the structure of the subtle body. And they're all contained within manas. So what is manas? How to understand manas? Manas produced out of the mode of goodness. So manas maintains, mode of goodness, good, maintain. So manas maintains that which is in it. So it maintains our desire, our aims, our material conditioning. But what is it? It is the container of consciousness. Think of it that way. You have a bottle and you fill it full of water. So the water is the consciousness, and the manas is the container. Now the consciousness that fills the container, the manas, is called chittam. Chittam means contaminated consciousness. Above these 4 material elements that compose the subtle body, the mind, intelligence, false ego, and chittam, there is the soul and the supersoul. Supersoul is regulating everything, like I said, just by his will. So, the manas is the container. The buddhi is the controller of the chittam within the manas. That means that if I want to visualize an apple, then my buddhi creates an image of an apple within my consciousness, within my mind. This is the action of the buddhi upon the chittam contained in the manas. But that buddhi is affected by ahankara, false ego. That is the tamasic effect. Lord Shiva, tama, is giving ignorance. And the subtle element created in the interaction of the time factor into the mahatattva, which is the womb of the material nature, the effect of the time factor, is the creation of ahankara. And there are two subtle elements created also. There are the subtle elements, mind, chittam, buddhi and ahankara, and the 20 gross elements, but there is also a subtle effect of the Maya Shakti, and they are two in quality, and they are called prasadmika buddhi and avaranatmika buddhi. Prasadmika buddhi means that it is the throwing potency. What that means is it gives the living entity certain conceptions. For example, at the beginning we said, you will be happy if you enjoy overeating, right? So this is a conception. So we don't control our sense of taste. We drink and we eat, we become merry, we become sick. But we are thinking that if I do that, I'll be happy. That's called avaranatmika. Certain people think, I believe in Marxism. That is the throwing potency. You have within your chittam, your contaminated consciousness, you have some consciousness. Marxism is a great thing. Another person is thinking globalism is a great thing. Another person, National Socialism, and everyone is thinking my football team is the best. So we get a false idea and then we believe it to be true. Therefore people fight politically. Oh, I believe in globalism. No, I believe in nationalism. Fight, fight, fight. Right? So that is the material world. It's the subtle effect of prasadmika and avaranatmika buddhi, which is infecting the intelligence. And the basic throwing of these is that ahankara. And that is, ahankara means that I am this material body. I'm convinced I'm the material body. That's avaranatmika buddhi. Right? I am this material body. That's prasadmika buddhi. False conception. Avaranatmika buddhi means, I am this body. What are these Hare Krishnas doing, talking about you're not the body? I am the body. When I look in the mirror, that's me. I'm brushing my teeth for 50 years and they're telling me I'm not the body? Who else is brushing their teeth? The crazy idea. So that is avaranatmika buddhi. You see this? So spiritual knowledge goes right to the ahankara. It goes to the ahankara, which is the false conception, I and mine, that I am this body, and therefore the things related to this body, they belong to me. This is mine, this bag is mine. So that I'm coming, what do you mean it's not mine? I paid for it in Loy Bazaar. So this is avaranatmika buddhi. You get a false web, this is the Maya Jal. You become in a web of false ideas. They're all illusory. And they're all based on this ahankara. I am the body. So what did Kṛṣṇa tell Arjuna at the beginning? As his first thing, Sankhya Yoga, like I said, he told him, you are not the body. And therefore you must become situated in your spiritual self. You are a soul within the body. So that's the first part of spiritual knowledge, right? Everyone knows. Huh? I remember hearing that for the first time. You're not the body. You're a spirit soul within the body. So that is a very common idea in all religions, but they don't have a very clear idea what the soul is. It's a different energy, and this is the source of emotion and personality within the person. They don't have a clearer, but that is given imperfection in Bhagavad-Gita in the Vedic literatures. That is the sublime quality of the Vedas. The Vedas are the handbook. Like I say, when Yamaha makes a new electronic keyboard, what does it do? Does it sell the keyboard alone? No, it makes a manual. How you can use the electronic keyboard. You can use all the functions. So Kṛṣṇa's made the creation, but he's made a manual. That's the Vedas. It's describing spiritual, and the Vedas mainly deal with the three modes of material nature. Traigunya Vishya Veda, Nistraigunya Bhavajura, Nirvanvo Nitya Sattvaso, Nir-yoga Shema ātmāman. She says, don't deal with the material energy, get involved in that, Arjuna. You act so that you are going above the material nature. That's the purpose of the Upanishads in the Vedas. So this construction of the Vedas is there. Now, just like when I have my electronic keyboard and I see, oh, the manual works. Now I know how to make a rhythm, how to change the voice, make it from harmonium to piano. And I look up in the manual, oh, it tells me how to record my playing. I put a pen, USB drive here, and I press record here. So I see that the manual and the electronic keyboard are related. So then I know, oh, this is the right manual. So that is the experience of a learned devotee. He studies the Vedas, he hears from the Guru, he reads the commentary of the Acharyas, and he sees practically, wow, that fits in with my material life. I've never seen a better instruction. And the more I read the Vedas and the more I read the Bhagavad-Gita, then the more I realize that the Vedas are correct. And then Yadrasi, Sadrasi, the more you develop that realized faith, then the more you realize Kṛṣṇa. Because the entrance to Kṛṣṇa is that spiritual knowledge, pravachan, shravanam, knowing sambandhagan, knowing abhideya, knowing prayojan. Once you, and then because your faith, you may not have realization of prayojan, how Radha and Kṛṣṇa are relating in pure love and ecstasy. You may not have a very good realization of that. But because you're realizing the material energy is explained by the Vedas and my study and my chanting, then I'm developing faith in that which I haven't yet attained. And then I pray to Kṛṣṇa. Ainandatanuja kinkaram patidamam vishuveva vambudo kriyapayatava parapankajastu dindavidusinvisa. Oh, Kṛṣṇa, I've fallen in this material nature. You pick me up. And place me as an atom of dust on your lotus feet. You pick me up. This is surrender, like I said. You give everything back to Kṛṣṇa and you say, Lord, there's only one thing I ask, Kṛṣṇa. You inspire me on the right path. Dadami buddhi yogam tam. And then we realize, yes, manas, as it says here, is the container of consciousness. So you will find in the Vedic literature and sadhus, they talk, control your mind. Actually, what they are talking about is control your consciousness. You understand? Because that is which we are Purusha. Kṛṣṇa, Sankhya Yoga, theistic. Kṛṣṇa is Purusha, controller of Radharani. He's the controller of Shakti. He's Shaktiman, the source of energy and the controller of energy. So what are we? We are Angsa of Kṛṣṇa. So we are Purusha of our Prakriti, which is our consciousness. We are Jiva Shakti, ultimately an energy, a subordinate, but we are particular. We have Purusha and Prakriti in our nature. This does not. This is material energy. It has no Purusha. It is just energy. It is not, it is dull matter. It is not conscious. But we are conscious. And we can be Purusha, controller of our consciousness. Just in the same way, that principle is there. Ram and Sita. Kṛṣṇa and Radha. Vishnu and Lakshmi. Shiva and Uma-Devi. Right? So that principle is there throughout the creation. The Purusha aspect and the Prakriti aspect. And it is in us too. And therefore, Kṛṣṇa tells Arjuna later on, Arjuna, you've heard everything now. Are you ready? What do you say? He said, Karishyate tava vachanam. Kṛṣṇa, I've understood everything now by your great mercy and instruction. Now I'm ready, Karishyate, ready to do tava vachanam, according to your works. That means I choose to do so. But I choose to do so, why? Because now I've got knowledge of the importance of the choices that I make. And I have consciousness. And this is something to realize, that there is only that we have this power. They call it free will sometimes, or with freedom of choice and this and that. But we are Ishvara of our consciousness. Kṛṣṇa is Sumeshvara. He's complete controller of the whole creation. Everything's resting upon him. Those chemical laws, biological laws, physical laws, they're all resting on matak parataram nanyad kinchidas. Nothing, everything is resting upon me, Kṛṣṇa says in the Gita. There's nothing beyond me. I'm the ultimate principle. I've created all these chemical laws, these biological. I created DNA and I inspired all that. So, but I've created the Jiva Shakti, and they can choose what they want to do. And I want that so that they are creating their own ideas when they interact with me in the spiritual world. They are creating new decorations, new dancing, new music. I'm interacting with people who have free will, free expression, and that is stimulating me. And Radha and I and Gaunitai, we're thrilled by our devotees. Just like if you're a great musician, what do you want to do? Do you want to sit at home and play music? Or do you want to entertain people? So Kṛṣṇa is the supreme controller, unlimited energy, ātmā, ability, intelligence, unlimited ability. But he doesn't want to just sit there on a mountaintop going, Om. No, he wants to interact with his devotees. He wants his stimulus. Just like when I'm a musician and I'm playing in front of the crowd and I feel the crowd, oh, they like it. Then I become inspired and I improvise and I find new methods. I find new things on my guitar. So I'm interacting. So Kṛṣṇa, that is full of everything, but the role of the living entity's energy is to stimulate that ecstasy. So the manas is our consciousness ultimately. And it is the reservoir of our material conditioning and our material desires and all that. But what simple thing of yoga is just to take that manas, that that mind, and fix it on the Supreme. Through Shravanam, through Kirtanam, through Smaranam, Padasevanam, then by regulated deity worship, by Archanam, Bandhanam, offering, chanting Brahma Samhita, Bandhanam dasyam. By developing, as you realize, oh, I am your servant, and it's so wonderful, it's such a sweet feeling. And then sakyam, intimate friendship, and then ātmā-nivedanam. So this is the 9 processes of bhakti, that you just, and it's based on attraction to Kṛṣṇa. That attraction is woken up by spiritual knowledge. So that attraction should be enhanced by our choice. You understand? We should, and therefore Vaidhi Bhakti is there. Like today's Gaur Purnim, Sharadiya Purnim? No, that's no. The name of this. What's the name of this Purnim? Anyway, it's Ras Leela Purnim. So in this Ras Leela, all the sadhakas, siddhas, they join the Ras Leela. The Sharadiya Purnim is at the end of the previous month. That's for the Nitya siddhas. That's in around Govardhan Hill. But the Ras Leela stall is downtown. The Jamuna goes around Kesi Ghat. That's the Ras Leela stall. So anyway, if we understand that I have the ability to control my mind under the shelter of Kṛṣṇa by surrendering and asking for his shelter, then the path to bhakti is very easy. Because we know the basic principle that nityo nityanam chaitanas chaitananam eko yoda dadati kaman, that there is one supreme eternal, that's the Supreme Lord. There is one supremely conscious being. We are conscious beings. We are eternal also. Eko yoda dadati. And he is fulfilling the desire of every living entity, whether it's material or spiritual. He's fulfilling. So if we just maintain the desire, oh Kṛṣṇa, I'm a fool, I don't know, I don't understanding, but I want to go back to Godhead. I want to realize you. Then Kṛṣṇa will reciprocate. He fulfills everyone's desire, material or spiritual. He'll fulfill. We shouldn't think, oh, I'm not very clever, I'm this, I was never at the top of class at school, and this and that, and I don't have any money, and I don't have any friends, and I don't have any qualification. You have the qualification if you desire. And Kṛṣṇa fulfills the desires of all living entities. That's what stimulates him. Fulfilling the desires of his children. Just like if you have a dozen children, there's nothing like, you see it in the MVT. Somebody has 6 children, or in the Govindas, he takes them to the restaurant and they make a load of noise and they eat a lot of things, and then he pays the bill. I'm a big man. There, take 2,000 rupees. And he doesn't, because he enjoyed seeing his children laughing and running here and making noise and eating lassis and matar paneer. He enjoys that. Oh, 2,000 rupees. What a good fun. So that's Kṛṣṇa. He enjoys by giving pleasure and satisfaction to all the living entities. But he's warning people, if you want to live in the material world, okay, but follow the Vedic prescriptions, be a karmi, so that you live in Swargaloka, not in Narak. If you want to live in the material world and enjoy, you can enjoy, you can enjoy by being pious. You can stay up in the heavenly planets, but the nature of the material world is you're going to make some problem and then you're going to fall down. So the point is, everything is in your hand because you are the master of your consciousness. And that's what we should realize when we chant Hare Kṛṣṇa, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Because in that mantra, what does it mean? Oh Radha, oh Kṛṣṇa, engage me in your service. So with our control of consciousness, we chant with that meaning, not mechanically like a parrot. We chant, oh Krishna, oh Radha, engage me in your service. That's my desire. And then you back that up with siddhanta, with knowledge. And the hearing and chanting, that will take you back to Godhead in one lifetime. Srila Prabhupada Sadhu Sangha Bhagavad-Gita Ki Jai.